Good morning, everyone. My name's Evan. I teach English Language Arts and ESL here at Strathmore High School.
My name is Brandy Roberts, and I teach grade 10 to 12 art and jewelry making, and I've been here at SHS for about 12 years. It's kind of a tough gig to follow up after poop and saving lives, but we're going to tell you about our story anyways. This project that Evan and I collaborated on last year came about when our principal talked to us about providing cross-curricular opportunities for our students. We thought art and English would be a good fit, and as I'm a department of one, I work and plan alone, so I was eager to collaborate with another colleague and create a connection between our students.
So many of you are familiar with writing prompts that students will respond to on a diploma exam. However, they're not usually super exciting, and often students struggle with how to connect. My principal asked me if I was interested in a cross-curricular project, and I thought it could be a way to engage students more, especially with writing prompts. Those of you that have taught English know that students, as part of the diploma, can respond to a visual prompt, which can often feel inauthentic and uninteresting to them.
So when Evan and I sat down to brainstorm, our initial thought was to have art students paint a visual that English students would write on.
And then we thought we could add a layer and have English students write a response that art students could translate into a visual painting.
From there we thought, why not just do an exchange both ways?
We really didn't know how this would go. We wondered if they would struggle with what to write, what to draw, or if it would just be a big mistake. Would students really want to do this?
We decided just to go for it. We needed a theme for our project.
So I was thinking, what are some themes that we study in English language arts? And the first thing that came to mind was the theme of loss of innocence.
Bad idea. Bad idea. High school and loss of innocence, too much could go on here. Don't Google it.
So we went down the list, and the next thing that came to mind was the much less risky theme of regret. We thought it could work. It gives students enough to write about, complex issues, but it's a little safer.
And who doesn't have some regrets in their life?
I have no regrets, well, except for that one time. I don't want to talk about it.
So we realized that potentially students could be in a vulnerable position, so we gave them the opportunity to write or paint on a story of regret of self or others, such as in music or film, media. And that way they'd have a story that they could draw from, but they would feel comfortable sharing. And although we worked on this as an anonymous project, they knew that they would meet their partner at the end in a reveal, and also that their work would be compiled into a booklet that we shared with other students and potentially others.
So how it all played out was, in the first round of the project, English students wrote, and art students painted their interpretation of the story being told. And then art students painted their story, and the English students wrote an analysis of it.
At the reveal, we laid all the paintings on the table, and we invited the English students to try to identify their story in a visual. And it was pretty cool because most of them were able to do that. And then from there, we let the art students, read the written interpretation of their painting that they had not yet had the opportunity to go over.
So I noticed students were a lot more engaged in their work, and they were definitely more interested in what they were doing. The results, though, were still very surprising.
And I would agree. It was super interesting to hear what students had to say about this.
Like beforehand, you've got people writing things, handing them in, getting marked on it, handing them back, and then, you know, if you don't get a good mark, tried your best, you know, good luck. But as soon as you put somebody else into the equation,
it makes it really hard, but in a good way, because
it was somebody else's work that I was also collaborating with, basically. So it did matter a lot more.
with a specific painting that someone's trying to give you something to write on,
You want to do it right, so you try a lot harder to just kind of tap into what they're thinking, see it for yourself. It opened my eyes a lot to, you know, what other people are feeling and how I can paint something that they can see themselves in.
When everybody handed their art pieces in and everybody handed their writing pieces in, and we all came into this classroom, and everybody was looking at it, some of the art pieces just almost brought me to tears. Like, there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
I think that a project like this allows you to go deeper.
Everybody approached it with a sense of like, this is somebody else's life that I'm taking into my hands, basically.
Because you get to tap into your feelings and pull from someone else's feelings.
And I thought that kind of deepened the whole outlook on the project for everybody. Seeing the effect that writing can have on people will 100% contribute to making not just me, but everybody in the class a better writer, and maybe in the art class, making everybody a better artist.
So one of the things that we initially talked about was connecting students in a larger school community. And because it was an anonymous exchange, we thought it would be nice to do that without bias. What stood out for me throughout the project, though, was how much they honored and respected each other, a stranger at the time, throughout the entire process.
So while Brandy thought this would be a good idea to connect with kids, I was pretty worried that this wasn't going to turn out very well. I wasn't sure how much they'd open up, if there was going to be problems, or if students would be authentic with their answers. However, again, it did not go how I expected.
And like as I said, with this girl, I haven't met her before. And then as soon as I saw the painting and she read the story I wrote about hers, it was like, wow, we actually like connected.
Kind of taught me that people are a lot more than what you just see.
It was kind of cool because you don't normally see these people around. Like, you can see them in the hallways and stuff, but you don't really know them. And then
It's like, well, if Ryerson feels like that, how many other people feel like that?
that person you just walk past in the hallways thinking, even if they're the smiley, bright, bubbly person or the person that has their hood up all the time, you just never know what's really going on behind all that.
You don't realize that everybody has their struggles. You realize, oh, maybe this person has like an interesting story to tell, and maybe you can like empathize with them more.
It wasn't just a face.
It was really cool to get to know that person too, and then see like, oh, this is the person that I just gave a little piece of me to.
I think that the best part that came out of it was learning something about someone who I've only seen at like surface level, so that kind of, you know, gave me something to like relate to him as a human being, and then, you know, having a way to share those same feelings through art and writing was really cool.
I think originally taking that first step and writing a piece when you know somebody else is going to have to look at this, and maybe this is a very sensitive part of my life, I think that's a tough thing to do.
It was an experience that I kind of felt a little vulnerable sometimes.
But once you get, you know, your art piece back, it's amazing to see how much somebody can take that and be careful with it.
And yeah, it kind of changed my perspective. But I think being vulnerable is like not a bad thing always. It's like showing yourself, and that can make you connect with more people.
Having a way to share those same feelings through art and writing was really cool.
So these student responses moved us. We intended to engage and connect our students and hopefully improve their artwork and their writing, and it did. But we didn't realize how deeply that it would impact them. This experience was meaningful for them, and it was for us, and so we're eager to look for other opportunities to work with our colleagues like this.
And when I look back over this project, and definitely at the student clips, I did notice an improvement in their writing, on their work, but I now realize just how much this impacted them, and in different ways. This actually worked, and I was worried about this, felt like a big risk for all the reasons I already shared, but seeing their work, hearing their reactions, it makes me want to do more of these risks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.